Hi, I'm David Maldo, and in this video I'm going to bring up the view from 4 different webcams so that you can compare them side by side. This is one of a series of videos comparing over a dozen webcams. We're doing them in a round robin so you can see each of them in a head-to-head. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer. Logitech has sponsored this series of videos. However, they asked me to keep it neutral. I'm not going to share any of my own opinions. I'm just going to show it to you and let you see for yourselves. As part of keeping things fair, I'm leaving all the cameras on their default settings. Usually I like to tweak the brightness, the contrast, to try to optimize things, but I don't want to subconsciously bias anything in favor of one camera over another, so I'm just going to leave everything on their defaults. Okay, so let's bring up our 4 cameras. In this video, we're going to compare the Logitech Brio, the Logitech C270, the Adesso H2, and the Adesso H3. The first thing we look at is what we call the aspect ratio, or the shape of the window that we're in. Both Logitech cameras and the Adesso H3 are a 16:9 aspect ratio. That means for every 16 pixels across, or 16 inches or centimeters, there's 9 going up and down. The result is this familiar rectangular shape, which is what most video apps are looking for. The Adesso H2 is a 4:3 aspect ratio. For every 4 pixels going across, there's 3 going up and down. This is the shape of the TV shows from when I was a kid. And the result on most video apps is you'll wind up with these black bars on the side. Related to aspect ratio is field of view, or camera angle. How much of the room is the camera covering? If I wanted to have a colleague sitting next to me, could you see them? And if I talk with my hands, how much of that comes across? One more point while we're looking at windows and how the windows are framed here. You'll notice on the Adesso H2 that the mic is on the other side of my face and the text on the Coca-Cola box is backwards. That's because this camera is mirroring my video. While that may be useful for some applications, generally when you're on a video call, you don't want your image to be mirrored. You want people to be able to read your materials if you have something to show them. Now let's check our distortion, or how straight our lines look. To be fair, these cameras are doing a tough job. They're trying to capture my face, but also capture the room. So inevitably, there'll be some curves around the edges. But for the most part, we want our straight lines to look straight. I've tried to include a lot of straight lines behind me. The cabinet has straight lines, the curtain rod that I used to hang the green screen, some of the other decorations on the wall, so you can judge for yourself if the lines look straight. Now let's take a look at our colors. Again, usually I would go in and tweak this in the settings to optimize, but we're staying with our defaults. And I've tried to include a lot of colors behind me. We have some purple, blue, orange, red, green, so you could take a look and see how they look to you. And when looking at color, remember there's 2 things to think about. One is, how does it look to you? The blue, does it look like a nice blue? The other thing is, does it look right? Unless you've been in my office, you don't know what exact shade of blue this is, exactly how it should look. But most of us know what Coca-Cola red looks like. That's why I included the Coca-Cola box. So take a look at it, and not just does it look red, but does it look like Coca-Cola red? The next thing we want to look at is our exposure, or how well these cameras deal with lighting. Now in my office, I think it's pretty typical. I have less than perfect lighting. Lighting's tough. I have a couple big lights in front of me, so I have some bright lighting right near me. I might be a little bit overexposed, and I don't have a lot of lighting in places where I need it, so I probably have a bunch of shadows. So judge for yourself how well these cameras deal with my, what I hope is somewhat typical, less than perfect home office lighting. Now let's take a look at the sharpness or clarity of our images. With webcams, that mainly depends on the resolution of the camera, how many pixels they're putting up on the screen. Here, the Adesso H2 is running at 480p resolution, so it's 480 pixels up and down and 640 pixels across. The Logitech 720 and Adesso H3 are at 720p resolution, so 720 pixels up and down, 1280 pixels across. I consider 720p and anything above it to be HD, high definition video. The Brio is currently running at 1080p. 1080 pixels up and down, 1920 pixels across. The Brio is actually capable of running at 4K, which is an even higher resolution, but I have it at 1080p because I record my YouTube videos at 1080p. Very few video call services currently support 4K. However, it's still beneficial because you could zoom in and still be at 1080p. There's so many pixels on the screen that when you zoom in, you can still have that high definition image. And the last thing we're going to compare is the audio. All 4 of these have a microphone. Now, up to now, I've been using the microphone on this Logitech Zone headset to keep it neutral between the cameras, but now I'm going to switch to each one of these cameras in turn and let you hear them. To make it a real-world test, I'm going to add a couple things. One, I don't have to add, I already have it going. It's background noise. I have a very loud air conditioner, and the fan on my computer is just humming away here. The next thing I'm going to add is some people noise, as if I'm working in a crowded area. Let me play it over the computer so you could hear it. This is the audio file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it here on my iPhone to see if the webcams pick it up. Now the headset's probably not picking it up. It's designed not to, but we'll see how the webcams do. You're now hearing me on the Logitech Brio. So decide how I sound to you. If we were in a meeting for an hour, can you understand what we're saying? And let's see if I have a crowd outside my office making a bunch of noise. Can you still make out what I'm saying over what they're saying? Can you still get some work done? And while we're here, let's go over everything we've gone over so far so you can have some more time to listen to the audio. So let's take a look at our field of view. If I'm talking with my hands, how much can I talk with my hands? Let's look at our distortion. How do our lines look? Are all of our straight lines actually looking straight to us? How's our color? Does our color look nice? And does it look accurate? Is our Coca-Cola red looking like Coca-Cola red? How's our exposure? How's the camera dealing with my light that's too bright in some places and too shadowy in other places? The sharpness, clarity. Look at the detail of the things behind me and on me. How does all the detail look? And with that, let's move on to the next camera. You're now hearing me through the Logitech C270. And again, how do I sound to you? If we were in a meeting, could you make out what I'm saying? Can you hear me over the background noise of my air conditioner, my loud fans? If we have some rude coworkers interrupting us, can you still make out what I'm saying over what they're saying? Can we still get our work done together? And while we're here, let's go over everything else we've looked at so far. Our field of view, could I have a coworker here with me? Can I talk with my hands? How is our distortion? Do the straight lines on everything behind me, the guitar neck, look straight? How is our color? Do our colors look nice? And does our Coca-Cola red look like Coca-Cola red? How's the camera handling the exposure? How is it dealing with my less than perfect lighting? And finally, what do you think about the sharpness, the clarity, the details of everything behind me? And with that, let's move on to the next camera. You're now hearing me through the Adesso H2. And again, how do I sound to you? If we were in a meeting working together, can you understand me clearly? Can you make me out over the background noise of my fans and air conditioning? Let's put on our rude coworkers. If we just can't get them to behave, how well can you still understand me over them if we're trying to work together? Can we still get our work done? And while we're here, let's go over everything else so far. What do we think of our field of view? Can I get a coworker in here with me? How do our straight lines look on our guitar neck, cabinet? How's the distortion? What do we think about the color? Is our Coca-Cola red looking like Coca-Cola red? The exposure, how well is it dealing with my less than perfect lighting? And the sharpness, the clarity, level of detail of myself and the things behind me. And let's check out our last camera. You're now hearing me through the Adesso H3. And again, how do I sound to you? If we're working together, can you make out everything I'm saying? Can you understand me clearly? Can you hear me well over the background noise of my air conditioner and fans? Let's turn on our loud coworkers. How well can you make out what I'm saying over what they're saying? Can we still get our work done together? And while we're here, let's look at everything else on our list so far. What do we think about our field of view? Can I get a coworker in here, and can we talk with our hands? How is the distortion to the guitar necks? The lines on the cabinet, everything behind me looks straight. What do we think about our color? Is our Coca-Cola red looking like Coca-Cola red? Everything else looking nice? Exposure, how well are we dealing with our, it'd be great if everyone had perfect lighting, but lighting isn't easy, so how well are we dealing with it here? And finally, the sharpness, the clarity, the detail, the text, lines, everything behind me. Now, obviously audio is pretty subjective, but you know what sounds good to you. And remember, the key here is we're using these for business meetings. So what we care about is how easily can you make out what I'm saying? You don't want to have to strain to listen to me. You don't have to strain to understand me if we're working together for an hour in a meeting. So that wraps up this video. I hope you'll come back and check out the rest of the series so you could see all the head-to-head matchups. And I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.